You know what it is. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Get established. Let's go.
This is the Get Established Show Live, where we're all about awareness and support of our community, building within and beyond it. My name is Shine, and I'm here with my brothers, Chilla, D. Jones. Please like, share, and subscribe. Smash that like button for upcoming shows. A link will be provided in the chat so you can join in on the conversation, or if you choose, join the chat. All right. The individual opinions expressed on here do not reflect the show as a whole or the goal of joining in and supporting our community. So with that said, as always, D. Jones.
What's up, fellas? What's going on?
What's going on?
What the deal?
Hey, how did that weekend hit, man?
Hit
Good,
quick,
man.
It went past quick, man. I'm still holding on. It went past quick.
I went to see Superman this weekend, man.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. That's like how was it?
It was all right. It was all right. I mean, it was kind of lighthearted. I think it was a little bit lighthearted. You know how back a few years ago, all of them was kind of dark, kind of moody and stuff. But this one kind of lighthearted. This one kind of made you think a little bit of the old Superman, where it was Christopher Reeve, a little bit.
Hey, man, that old Superman, I know it's dated, man, but I like that joint, man. I might go back and watch it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna check the new one out, man. One of the boys went to see it this weekend, and he said it was pretty good. He said it was family oriented. So,
right.
But it makes you think about it, man. The Superman back in the day, man, with Lex Luthor, and the way it played out, that's nostalgic, man. It brings back memories, man. Hey, you brought back some memories, man.
Yeah,
Hey, it just took you back to your childhood with Christopher Reeve, with Superman.
Yeah.
Before then, we had Superman in the black and white, and he would stand there and take the bullets, but when they threw the gun, he always ducked. Oh, like, God, you're taking bullets, but you're ducking for when they throw the gun at you.
Yeah, that reminds me of Batman. I remember seeing that in Batman. I don't remember seeing that in Superman.
Yeah, Superman. The black and the old one and the black and white when he would come there and they would
I got you.
Boom, boom, it bounced. But when they run out of bullets, they'll throw the gun and he'll duck instead of just letting it bounce off his chest. It was
1940s
like,
one.
Yeah, the old Superman.
Like
you could take bullets, but throwing a gun.
The little trunk seemed like it was hiked up so high it was all the way above his navel. Like it was almost to his
he ducked for the gun being tossed at him, but he stood there, threw out his chest for the bullets.
The weekend was too short, man. It seems like you go to sleep on Friday and wake up it's Monday. You know what I mean? We gotta do something about that, man. We need to change the scenario. Like we need 3-day work weeks.
You need 4-day. Yeah, you're right. 3-day work weeks. You got that right. Vice versa. 3-day work weeks.
Yeah.
The rest of the long weekend. You said it properly.
I kind of have those kind of weekends.
I know you do.
Everybody ain't able, man.
I know he do. Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Hey, I love my 3-day weekends. Okay.
Yeah, he get a 3-day weekend.
I bask in it.
Matter of fact, the day was still, when his days off every Monday. So
that's why he looks so fresh and
he's fresh and relaxed. Every Monday.
Let's get it.
See what I'm saying? You catch him on a Wednesday though.
GS Crew.
He a different dude, you know. It's all.
Yeah, don't mess with me on Wednesdays. Tuesdays. I go back to work, so I'm like, you know, it'd be all different. But today,
he a different
dude.
Get it. Let's get it. So let's get it then. Since you saying let's get it, let's get it. Code switching. What is it, and how does it affect the Black community, man? We're gonna hit you with the first question. What is code switching?
Okay. Code switching is let's just say, as far as the Black community, it refers to the practice of shifting between different ways of speaking, behaving, or presenting oneself depending on the social context, especially between African American or, you know, between cultural norms of Black communities and those predominantly white or mainstream spaces. It's a required skill for Black Americans, whether it's a motorist adopting a more differential tone during a traffic stop or an employee straightening her hair.
Okay, for people who was trying to figure that out, because he was talking to how it means you be perpetrating when it comes to not being yourself in regular terms. You perpetrating, you know, it's like when I was doing a telemarketing job, and the way I'm talking right now, you know, instead of saying, hey, you know, this is Chris Jones. Hey, what's up, blood? Your brother, whatever. Hey, how you doing? My name is Chris Jones, and blah, 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 blah. You know, you talk proper. Your whole everything about you different. You know, you change. Maybe even how you look. You will go to work acting one way and come home you yourself again. We put on a whole mirage acting a certain way. That's what code switching is. It's not you being authentic, your true self. You know, you putting on a mask, acting certain ways and doing certain things and talking a certain way just to fit in and make it in America and, you know, in the corporations and everything. Sometimes we must talk proper. That's why we do, boys and girls. We talk proper so we can get paid.
You know,
just like in hip hop right now, you got to be a thug. And most of the people are studio thugs because some of them never lived that life. Well, we'll go back into our day. They wasn't living that life, majority of them. Nowadays, they're trying to live that life, but they was studio thugs, and that wasn't them. They was putting on this fake mirage, being gangster, telling these stories they was doing that they never did. Okay, let's go.
You know, you went through that whole spiel about code switching, but and I mean, that's funny. But the thing about it is, I feel like that we often, as people of color or Black people, we do the most code switching, because if you think about it, you have all these different cultures in the workplace. And, you know, depending on where you're from, your accent is thick. If you're Nigerian, if you're from the Philippines, if you're from Australia, if you're Jamaican, if you're, you know, wherever you're from, you may have a thick accent. You may not speak English very well. They don't really do code switching. They don't. But if we speak the way we speak around our family members and our friends, it could come off as lack of education. It could come off as being rude by using certain terms, you know, because you don't understand it. But I never understood how we can be held to a certain accountability at the job when it comes to the way we speak. In other cultures, you know, their English isn't that good. Oh, they have a thick accent. Oh, they're from here. That's why they sound like this. And it's accepted. But why isn't it accepted on how we converse amongst each other in the workplace a lot of times? Depending on where you work, because a barbershop we're not talking about a barbershop or a hair salon. That's a little different.
Was that a question, or you just make?
Yeah, that's a question. Why is it that it's accepted from other cultures but not accepted from us?
Because they gonna say, why I got to deal with this ninja? Every time we got there, go into some place, because it's always that person that has to either check you or feel like you're doing, you're doing beneath what you should be or feel, because it goes back to the times where we were taught, our ancestors were taught broken English. So it's like, okay, well, if you coming up and then you're talking to somebody, and you say, what's up, man? I ain't fitting to do this or whatever, all that stuff like that. They're like, why it gotta be like that? You see where we are. You want everybody to think of you as this or that. You know what I'm saying? It's like we ourselves try to hold ourselves to, as far as Black folk, try to hold ourselves at a higher standard when it comes to being in front of company.
That's some nonsense, though, man. Let's be honest. I hear what you're saying, but it's been times where I've been in a business setting, and two Asian people are there, and they'll speak to us in English and talk a certain way, and then they'll break the conversation and start talking in their native tongue right in front of us. Right in front of us.
You're talking about speaking the language?
Yes. Or it could be Africans. We could be talking about something, and they're trying to get it together, and they'll start talking right in front of us in their native tongue. But if I'm having a conversation where, Sean, the projected rate of recovery for blase this, blase that is that, and then I tell you, give me a minute, sir. Hey, yo, shorty, hey, last night we talked about this you can't do that, man. So what's the difference between them? That's what I'm talking about.
The difference is in America, man. I look at it as the culture. It wasn't that many foreigners like that, like we got working among us at the time. We had to get paid. People in these other who own these companies or industries or corporations, they wanted to feel comfortable looking at us, dress like them, talk like them, act like them. We couldn't come being ourselves unless we were some way down on the line doing labor work or the trash man. You couldn't be sitting in a corporation with them wearing suits and ties and, hey, blood, how you doing, brother? Oh, yeah, well, high five. And all. They wanted you to talk a certain way so they could feel comfortable. I think that's what it is. They didn't, at one time, they didn't want to hire people that was wearing their natural dress and stuff like that. I can remember that back in the 80s and all that, how, just your hair could discriminate you for getting a job, or people were feeling uncomfortable with certain things. So it's like they'll look at your resume, your name could also shame you for getting hired. So, when you do get these jobs to try to fit in, I think some people felt like, this is what we got to do. We have to, code switch so we can be accepted and talk a certain way so we can have jobs to pay our bills. And then when I go home, I just be myself. I guess it's no different than you being an actor. I got to act to get this money. If I'm an actor, I put on different characters. So, I guess they got to act the same way so they can keep this job and talk a certain way until when they go home, they can be themselves again.
But isn't it a form of control from the Europeans? If you think about it, this structure that has been set up in America for corporate, the way you should act in a corporate setting, is that like a form of control?
It depends on what people take. To me, what's their value of what they feel. If you proud, like some people wear the Confederate flag, and even though other people might be uncomfortable with them wearing their Confederate flag all over their car, they didn't change themselves. Us, we were. I feel like some, not all of us. Some people are proud. They will wear their shiki, they'll wear whatever, and they stand and they'll wear their natural hair. They ain't gonna use no straightening comb. Some women won't put on makeup. They're like, I'm beautiful the way I am. I don't need to try to look like somebody else and wear blonde contact or blonde my hair. I'm gonna be myself. And that's them being authentic and real. Some people feel like to fit in, they got to make some changes. It's like Some people not even happy with the way they look, and I'm not going out of line with it. Some people, because they know it might be nice, big like this, and they are women, they'll make it small and narrow just to look a certain way. They'll change the whole, their look so they can feel proud about themselves, because they really, to me, they're not looking like us. They're looking like somebody else. And the more they bleach their skin and do everything to fit in, that makes them more acceptable to other cultures.
Well, let me ask you this, Sean. Do you think that code switching affects the sense of authenticity?
I think if the environment negates you from being free to express yourself how you want to express yourself, as far as how you look and how you present yourself, then yes. Because we're I mean it's kind of a balancing act, because I'm not going to say that as far as how you look, that shouldn't it shouldn't negate you from being in a certain environment if you are presentable. You know what I mean? Because we all know, like, let's be real. We all know that you're not gonna go in somebody's corporate office. Let's say you have a suit. But your shirt is it's not tucked in your pants. Your pants hanging off your ass. And you going in there literally looking like you just came off the street, just hanging with your homeboy, talk about, yeah, man, I'm coming here to go the interview that you gonna hire me for. That's a different situation. You kind of putting yourself in a tight situation, because it's like, okay, well, you're showing somebody that you're dressing, nobody is showing they draws in the workplace.
I'm gonna take this to another level on y'all. I'm gonna use basketball.
Go for it.
I'm gonna talk about Allen Iverson. They wanted him to look a certain way. They wanted him to dress a certain way. And he said, no, I'm not gonna be fake, man. And I mean, he's straight from Virginia. I'm gonna be myself, man. I'm gonna be who I am. He would dress, he walked, he did his swag, he wore his cornrow, he tatted his, he did everything, and he changed the whole system. Today, everybody tatted and locking like Albert Allison. Back then, he was the only one. Everybody else wearing suits, wearing stuff, doing. He did himself. But the thing was, he never switched. He stayed himself. He wore his pants the way he wanted to. He did himself. He stayed true to himself the whole time. He didn't change.
I would like to, amend that and say that was Dennis Rodman.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Right. No, I'm going with Albert Allison. I know he got a lot of ridicule.
Yeah.
He got a whole lot of ridicule for doing stuff that won't nobody else doing, man. And he went through that. He went through a whole lot of ridicule because they wanted him to be a certain way.
So the agenda with Dennis was a little different. I kind of agree with Chris. Dennis was one of the first that did kind of outlandish things. But the problem is, I think the NBA embraced a lot of stuff Dennis did because he was pushing a certain agenda. And I'm going to leave that alone.
And then again with Dennis,
he was pushing a certain agenda. It was different.
Then again, hold up. When you say he's different, then again with Dennis, I looked at Dennis was doing stuff for attention.
That's the thing. But the agenda was a little different with Allen. Dennis wasn't wearing the hip hop style clothes. Dennis wasn't walking around with entourages. Dennis wasn't showing up the way Allen Iverson was, and he didn't get the attention from the youth that Allen did. So it was a little different. I do agree that Dennis changed what an NBA player should look like based on, what he had going on. But you talking about two different players on, they were nothing alike.
I mean, I know they were nothing alike. I'm just saying, you talk about somebody who pushed the envelope.
He did,
but how you look.
But he
going
pushed
into a setting as a professional.
Okay, so his envelope was pink and Allen's was blue. Okay,
I mean, I ain't saying I agree with it necessarily.
So the envelopes that were being pushed were a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he pushed the envelope pretty much there.
But to Chris's point, even in where I work, the medical field is a little more lax when it comes to certain things. But it's funny, in the break room, conversations flowing, people talking about different things that went on during the weekend, different TV shows, and then top brass walked through. Whole conversation changed. The tone changes, everything changes. So I see code switching all the time.
I would think that once you walk out of that break room, that's when the code switching get flipped, the switch get flipped back on. But when you get in that break room, hey, you talk to the homies and you're like, hey, look, man.
I want to tell you, man, it's different. I want to tell you this, man. I'm going to tell you this. This is crazy too. When you're dealing with patients, the conversation may be different with the initial caregiver, but when the physician comes around, they code switch too.
You talking about
the patients? The patients code switch too when the physician comes around. Like it might be, hey man, this and that going on. I feel like this, and when the physician comes around, hey buddy, how do you feel? Oh, I feel great, doc. This is the best. It's totally different. Totally different. So, I mean, code switching happens in a lot of different scenarios. Let me ask you this. Are you guilty? You, Raymond, you Chilla, guilty of code switching? I can answer that for myself. I will answer that for myself.
I mean, I could say in a sense, yeah, because it's like I take on in my mind, wherever I'm at, wherever lingo or people I'm at, I always switch to their lingo. I'm not going, not saying when I'm around my brothers, I speak a certain way. If I'm around people, professional people, I speak a certain way because I know how to talk to certain people that see me in different ways. I never then look at it as code switching because a lot of times, I don't try to switch who I am to fit in as far as dressing and anything. I still say the same as how I dress because people see me in sneakers. A lot of people got to dress casual or whatever. I'm always dressed. I wear without my chain, whatever type jewelry or something I like to wear. I'm gonna be me regardless. I might talk a little different, yeah. As far as dressing, I'm not changing my hair, changing this and that, unless I'm going somewhere to be represented and we all dress in a certain way just for that time and that day or something. But no, I don't try to do things, for other people. I just try to be myself because I feel like if you ain't yourself, that's just you. Something else. I'm just me. So I'm not in the military. I'm not in the court system. I'm not got to be in suits. I'm not a lawyer. I can dress, the way my job fits me to in a situation I could be a certain way.
Man, everybody on this panel and the pushing producer is code switch. Let's just go ahead and say that.
Raymond, you sold out to the people, man. Go ahead, talk about it.
all us sold out to the people.
You sold out to the man. Go ahead.
Before I sell out, I get the hell out.
Whatever. I'm gonna say this because at my job, because mine is a bit blue collar, it's not a much of a switch there. I mean, it's just, how you negotiate, with folk that, corporate is one thing, But if you talk about dealing with direct supervisors, it's a different situation. You know, we a little bit more down to earth with it. But I mean, as to say that I would say, "What up, my ninja?" Nah, I wouldn't say that. You know, I mean, I'd be like, you know, what's going on? You know, in that sense. I mean, we you know, we don't have that type of rapport where I can really be comfortable with talking to them any type of way, because I mean, you know, you have to think that when you in those type of environments where you're working for a corporation or something like that, you know, even when, you know, you have those supervisors like real that are directing it right there, it's a certain type of relationship y'all gonna have. I mean, now if you are that type of person to be cool with your supervisor, I mean that's all well and good, but I know for me personally, I try to keep as much of a professional relationship, because you know, when you're dealing with somebody that's over you, you know, they tend to use, you know, your openness and your closeness to their advantage. You know, sometimes they be like, "Hey, I might need you to do some extra stuff for me. You know, stay back a little longer for me." You know, you might be like, "I don't know about that, boss," or however you want to call it. I don't know about it, supervisor.
Yeah,
but
I thought you would change
We
up
call
that
it
boss.
colleagues. You know, they're gonna call them boss. Hey, boss, what we gonna do, boss?
I'm just saying, some people had that thought. Now,
no, I'm not saying that, man.
You know, I ain't saying that it's right. No, I'm just saying that's how some people do.
Boss is a racist word.
When used in the context of what we're talking about,
yeah,
in D's opinion.
No, we just kidding around. But in all seriousness, my situation is a little different. I wear scrubs to work, so I'm not changing up my appearance because it's required for me 97% of the time to wear scrubs. Now, I will say this. I try to be as authentic as I possibly can. The problem with that is I do work with people from different cultures, and I find myself being my authentic self not being understood when I communicate. So I do have to change up the way I communicate, because people from other cultures don't necessarily know what I'm talking about when I'm talking in my native tongue. So, you know, you really have to communicate on a different level to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And it is a form of code switching, but it's required. It's not like something that I want to do. I can be my authentic self at work. I can. And for the most part, I am. I can have regular conversations the way I would do it outside the job. It just becomes a problem when you have people from other cultures asking you, "Excuse me, I don't quite understand what you're saying. Could you repeat that?" So yeah, I have to switch it up so there's a certain level of understanding. So yeah, it's a little different. I'm not held to certain standards as far as communication. I do have to be professional though, and I you know, I can't offend anybody with the words that I use. So outside of that, I'm kind of forced to code switch and at times. Let me ask you this: when did you first become aware of code switching, and when did you notice you were doing it?
I think that's
hold up, before you answer that, hold up. The Puss and Producer said she is guilty of code switching because I am in corporate America.
She's guilty. She's guilty.
Guilty as charged.
She got the voice. So she got a code switching voice. She sure do.
Push and producer. Before I sell out, I get the hell out. That was for you. Well, go ahead, Shad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
I think I think we learn it. I think it's like when we in school.
Oh, that's a good one, Sean. Yeah.
When we you know, you're not at home, you know, with your brothers or sisters or your mother and father. You in school, and your teacher might say, well, don't say that like that, or you may, just because of the fact that you're in the presence of somebody different, you may speak according to how your surroundings is. So you pick up on it in that way. You know what I'm saying? Because you just feel like, well, dang, it sounds different. You know, and so that carries on through your adult into your adult life. So then that's when you start getting around, you know, people that may not look like you, and say, okay, well, hey, how you doing, sir? You know, just want to just speak to you and such, go about your way or whatever. Y'all have a conversation about weather, sports, whatever.
What's crazy is, and I say that all the time. I almost try to not use what's crazy or that's crazy, y'all. I'm sorry, I do say that a lot. But the point that Sean just made me think about something. And I've said this on previous shows. Me and Sean, not Chris, because he went to school in the hood. We actually
you threw that man under the bus again. He throw you under the bus, so it's good. It's good.
I went to school in the hood, you know.
Hey, shout out to Craddock. Shout out to Craddock.
I went to Knockham. I went to
Wilson.
We talk about your district. Your district school.
All my schools were hood. Okay.
Craddock. Shout out to Craddock.
He was school hopping.
Yeah. But anyway, we went to a white school. We got bused to a white school. So I say that to say, the thing about that is, we were basically programmed to code switch. You think about it, like we had our English teacher, me and Bigg. Did you have Mr. Fanning? Sean? I don't think you had him.
And we had Mr. Ardette.
That's right. Well, let's talk about Ardette. That's a great point. We had a teacher named Mr. Ardette that would stay on us about our communications and how we communicate. I mean, stay on it now. You know, we were the misfit of the classroom. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that, but yeah. But
yeah, we ain't getting into that.
But you actually, the point that I'm trying to make is, it actually starts in school, learning about code switching.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Now I'm not sure. Now I'm kidding about my brother going to school in the hood. He went to black schools. The majority of the population of his schools were black. So how was it in that learning environment, Chris?
Oh man, interesting. I just leave it like that. And depending on what school you want to talk about.
Well, I ain't talking about Norcom. I'm talking about Craddock.
Oh, Craddock was it was mixed. It was mixed. I mean, you had your elements. I mean, it's just like any other school. I feel like it was just a school. I mean,
that's not what I'm saying. So
you talk
where we went to school in a white area. You went to school in an area where there were more blacks, maybe Spanish. Black. You know, so it was just different. That's what I'm saying. So when you were being educated, do you remember any form of code switching in the classroom? That's what I'm asking.
I mean, we was always taught how to talk proper. If we said some word like, being black, you would say certain words a certain way. The teacher will always correct you. You pronounce it this way, you say it that way. We was always taught how to talk proper. That's from elementary all the way up to high. They always try to groom you how to be successful in corporate America, no matter what. How to talk, get up, how to present yourself. And I guess your grades, people who were more conditioned or easy, quickly picking up the indoctrinations of stuff, to my perspective, was the ones who always got the good grades. That was easy to adapt to certain things. Some people, it was hard to break. They was always being themselves, or they did something they didn't maybe get the finest grades because their interest levels of certain things wasn't high. Mine's, I didn't, I did what I needed to get by. I didn't try to, be a nerd. Hey, study like crazy. Certain things I did like, certain particulars of subjects, and I did put more interest in. But business in school, you just there for whatever. If it's that back then you wanted to talk to girls, it was about that. If you just liked the lunch, it was about that. If you just liked to play football, basketball, it was like that. If you was in a band, it was like that. But some people really was into their books and they was reading a lot and studying. Me, I was semi into it. I didn't. So it but teachers who took interest in your saw, because it was I remember I had a teacher, and at the time, I used to write a lot of different stories, and I used to like rap and stuff. But she really took an interest in me, and she was like, "You got a real good imaginary mind to write stories." She was like pushing me real hard to go to school for script writing. She always went. She said, She believed that I could really make it in the script writing because I could have these great concepts and ideas of coming up with stuff right off the top and just writing. So I know she really tried to really convince me to even go to college and go become a script writer and try my shot at it because she said I had a very good gift at doing stuff like that. But me, I'm like whatever. But it was I think all schools you go to, they try to teach us how to talk proper, how to spell, how some even the kids they all wear the same clothes or dress clothes, and as well you couldn't wear your baggy pants at certain times and stuff. So it's always been that type thing. We've been petite in school to be a certain way.
No, I agree. I
used to like the pizza on Friday, man. To be honest.
I like the pizza, man. Y'all just see Crawdad. I'm gonna tell you about Crawdad. See y'all talking about pizzas. We had pizzas Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We had hamburgers, cheeseburgers Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Every day we could eat what we want. Now when I got to Knockham, it was different. We had with certain days, like you said, you got pizza on maybe this day, you got this on that day. Okay, Wilson, I can't really remember in lunch, but I think it was like you could get what. But Crawdad, I remember Crawdad. You could eat whatever every day.
No, we just got
everybody went there for the coolies, the chocolate milk, and the big cookies. So I mean, it is what it was. So,
come on, D. We got the pizza on Friday, dog. Come on, man. Don't
y'all with it.
So I don't know if you I don't know if you remember this, Shine, before we got the new building. We went through a period where and I know we're getting off subject, y'all. I just want to address this real quick. We went through a period where Churchland allowed vendors to come in during lunch. I don't know if you remember that. Like Pizza Hut came in.
Yeah, that was special.
They would let vendors come in before lunch. So, and we were able to buy from those vendors. But we had options too, Chris. Let's not.
Okay.
Let's not do that, sir. Friday was pizza day.
Friday was pizza day.
Pizza day.
Every day was pizza day. I recall.
I'm sorry. I'm glad you got that luxury, but
every day was pizza.
Man, we had coolers too, man.
I ain't saying y'all didn't have coolers, but y'all just had pizza on one day. I mean, I'm glad of the discipline. We didn't get discipline on our pizza eating. We could eat pizza Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Double cheeseburgers or cheeseburgers.
I'm sorry. We beat off, producer.
Yeah, the producer sent you a message, man. I think you might need to check that out. Shine, I'm talking to Shine.
Yeah.
Shine, there's a message for you, sir.
Okay, I got you.
But let's swing off this because let's go back into what we're supposed to be talking.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to it.
I got some more stuff to drop, so let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, how does code switching make you feel? Did it empower you? Did it make you feel smart? Did it make you feel like you were being fake, conflicted, exhausted? How did it make you feel when you code switch? I'm gonna say you, Chris, because you turn it on all the time. We see you code switch on the show.
I do. And sad about it is that somebody had to bring it to my attention. A lot of times, if I can mimic your voice, I will sound like you. Meaning that if you talk a certain way, and even if you talk proper, even if they was white or whatever, black, and without me, because I was always joking, playing a game, and I have a habit of doing that. And I remember being with people and they hit you, stop doing. And I'm like, oh, what? You know, somebody will say something and sound a certain way, and I just be listening to them, and I start talking just like them, and people will hit me like, start doing that, like you just trying to. And I'm like, I have to catch myself because it became a habit. That, you know me, Dirk, always, since I was little, I would do that. I would try to sound like somebody, do something till it became a habit. So code switching, like I could be doing it and don't even know I'm doing it because I could just be talking to somebody and listening to everybody around me, and boom, I'm starting to talk just like them right off top.
No, I get that. You know, I know, you know, being fans of comedy, you often see comedians make fun of it. You know, like Richard Pryor did it a lot. Eddie Murphy did it a lot. And Jamie Foxx definitely did it a lot. But you would see comedians bringing attention to it through humor. Yeah. So yeah, you would see it even in entertainment where people code switch. You would see.
Well, hold up. Yeah. I'm going to the thing with my boy Dion posted, but we're gonna go there. But I'm gonna let you finish. You already know, Raymond, where that's going. So go ahead, Dirk.
I know. I was gonna wait until we got there and I posted.
I said what I said. I want to hear.
Not yet.
Oh, go ahead. But I'm gonna say, because I was in that arena, the church. It's a lot of code switching.
Yeah, we would get to that, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when you were gonna get to it, but
it was coming, sir. But go ahead.
In the church, it's code switching. And people might be flabbergasted and they might fight, but I'm letting you know what I see and know. It's code switching. It's one hallelujah, God bless you, sister, this and that, and boom, my God. And then you like, whoa, what? And then the door, boom, boom, boom. Oh, hallelujah. So what's going on, sister? It's code switching all the time. And it's real. It's real. I don't care if you feel somebody who's nice 24/7, out of the blue, you see them just being nice, question it. Something is wrong. Ain't nobody nice. You're going to catch even the nicest person at bad time or grumpy one time out his life. If you don't catch a person like that, and this person is perfect 24/7, something is wrong. They're putting on a great show.
You heard that pushing producer. You heard that.
A great show.
You heard that
pushing how you feel. I don't care how you think.
Nicest person in the world. Always got a good tone. Always seem like they're in a good mood.
See this person
always smiling.
I don't care how they dress.
Always laughing. Put some producer. I want you to hear this.
24/7. It's slowly. Y'all starting to hear stuff about other people. So starting to see Kurt twerking and stuff. So it's like the real people are slowly emerging out. So that's all I'm saying.
So that's what she doing.
Code switching.
She ain't producing
that's what you know. A lot of code switching out here.
All right. Let me piggyback off of you, Chris. You know, when you have one of the church sisters, you know, she talk about glory, yes, I'm sanctified and holy, pure in front of in the church. But then, you know, soon she got that, and this just general conversation now. Soon she got there, soon that kid start acting up in church. You know, she might not snatch it, depending on the type of mama. She might not snatch him up inside the church, but as soon as she get out of that daggone them church doors, boy, you don't bring your eight. And come on, I'm gonna tell you when they get home.
Switch all day. Listen, just look closely. Don't talk. Just watch and listen. You'll see some crinkles and the wrinkles in the robes. That's all you got to do is sit there. Be quiet and watch. Just observe all the time. You're going to see.
Glory, hallelujah.
I want to give all my glory to God first and foremost.
That's no different than a rapper getting out there cussing, and the guy want to give glory to God. This is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You looking like, man, you done called people in every NFL thing name you could say and get up here and the first person you want to think.
So let me ask you this.
Our producer said whatever, Derek.
So let me ask you this. Do you think in the church specifically, does the congregation code switch more than the pastor, or does the pastor code switch more than the congregation?
That's a hard one to say.
I'm gonna say it's both. I think both of them are equally code switch.
Yeah, it's just a people code switch, because in church, I look at people want a certain image, and people respect certain people when they act a certain way or critique themselves a certain way, but the real person never emerge, as you know what I'm saying. Because I mean, you can't, like I say, we got this in mirage in our mind when you say somebody's a man of God or a woman of God, or he's a pastor or a preacher. You want to look at him as just as holy as Jesus, and there's no such thing.
Hold on, Chris.
And when they make a fault,
I don't mean to interrupt you. Please come on the show, please.
Who?
But go ahead. The pushing producer.
Go ahead, Chris. But like I say,
okay.
That's why I said some people, man, we put them on a pedestal, and these people are just human. They make mistakes, and then you question why one pastor knocked up women in the church. You question why this goes on. You question so many different things, and I ain't talking about all pastors, just a few. But it's just things that happen that like some people got good heart and do the right thing, but you can't put everybody in the same category. Everybody do some things, and some people fall short of the glory, what we all say. Some people backslide, some people mess up, but I ain't never say never forgive them or whatever situation, but stop putting them on pedestals. Just look at them if your mailman, and I used to say this, if your mailman bring you your check and your bills, you don't shout and sing hallelujah to him and you getting your money. This pastor ain't doing nothing but taking 1 week out of that week and preach a good word, and you jumping around and doing cartwheels and buying them all type of sort things and cars and jewelry and robes and all this. And who's more important, that man or the man that's making sure your lights don't get cut off? That man or the man is making sure your bills get there? That man, or when your check was coming through the mail? You're not sending him a hot plate out there when he rocking in the sleet, the snow, and the rain. You're not praising that man for making, or that woman for making sure your bills get to that door. Your pastor ain't like every bill. Make sure if he's that great in glory, make sure you give your bills to that church and let them pay it. Then you can scream and shout hallelujah, because that's some good news. That's some good stuff. That's when the real shepherd is taking care of you and doing the things and ministering and feeding you and taking care of your house and your bills. When they doing that, that's the person you need to be shouting and screaming for. If your man is doing that and you're not shouting for him and you shouting for that pastor, like Derek said, something wrong.
Before we go too far down to church, before we go too far down the road in church culture, the pushing producer wants.
Oh, she out of the powder room. She got they did her makeup. She ready to come on now.
All right, I'm about to bring you on now.
Hi there.
Uh-oh.
I see you, D. Jones. I hear you. I hear you.
Pushy.
Chris, I 100% agree with you. That's what happens in church. I really do feel like it's the congregation a little bit more than the pastor. I used to attend Bishop Eddie Long's church for years. And it just amazed me how people just fall over just to be in that man's presence. And then they'll act one way in front of him. But like I shared with you guys before, you step outside in the parking lot, they cursing you out. They cursing you out. I've seen some of the worst that people have acted outside of the congregation. And then when they're in the church, oh, thank you. Thank you, Pastor. What do you need? To your point, Chris, ready to give up everything, their whole paycheck to this man. So I do feel like it is the congregation, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying people in general. I'm not just saying, I'm not trying to bash any pastor, because it is some good ones that out there that's really doing it from their heart, and they do help the people. But we got some wolves in sheep clothing that's pretending and portraying, and they just master the word because the devil know the word inside and out and backwards. Don't just fall easily to the word. The word should be you study to show yourself approved and learning. Now, we're not trying to change the show, but like you say, everybody, to me, in my perspective, this is just my opinion, I feel like we all, we all do this. We all code switch. We just do it in the environment for people to accept us and look at us a certain way.
Yeah, we do. And me being in corporate America, I know for me, I do it. I find myself more guilty of it at work than at home. And it's being in corporate America, it's like you have to act a certain way in order to get to certain positions. It's a game, right? In order to get promoted into various areas of corporate America, you got to play the game of acting like them. Right. The minute you step outside and try to act like your authentic self, and I know many people within my organization are their authentic self, it's not really accepted, right? Because you're challenging the status quo, and it's an issue. And those who have, I've seen where either it's a conversation or they're no longer with the company, right? So it gets to that point at some point.
But look, that's no different than a person going to court. You know how they change, they dress, they cut their hair, they look a certain way, they talk a certain way. Someone pull up their pants, they put on a different mirage in front of the judge. You, especially if they got a serious charge, they want it, because even the lawyer gonna tell them, look, you need to dress a certain way, talk a certain way, look a certain way. This is gonna help you out with your case. So they do everything they need to do to play that role, so they can, get a lighter sentence or beat the case or whatever they got to do.
Tupac didn't.
Let me throw up a comment from the comment section. A comment that came from our brother.
It's the Garrett Williams.
Some of these instances are just acting appropriate in the setting or environment. Like your parents always said, there's a time and place for everything. Yes, indeed.
Keep that perspective in your mind. It's a time and place for everything.
I think the biggest issue with code switching is not being your true self, right? There is a fine line between being respectable versus not acting like yourself, like you're totally a different character. I know someone very personal to me who switched. On the phone, people will think she's a white person, but when you meet her in person, it's like, oh, she black, because she knows how to switch just like that. So it becomes a fine line on, are you truly being your authentic self, or are you just playing a role just for the moment, right?
Yeah, I agree. It is a fine line, because I mean, it's just a thought in your mind about, hey, I'm making a living, and how do I want to do this? Do I want to do this, or do I have to do this to make sure that I'm taking care of my family? And I think the hardest part is if people can't break it, or people can't, adjust to their environment. If they're still caught up in it and they allow it to just kind of, like you say, permeate your whole situation, where it's where you're in your space of comfort with your family and friends, when it spills over into that, then people kind of look a little shifty on you. But I mean, sometimes if you're entrenched in it, it's hard.
Now I want to talk about the question, D. Jones, the last question you asked. Does it become a point where it's exhausting? It does. It is very exhausting, because you have to put on this show at work in order to excel. The minute you step out of it, now it's more acceptable now in corporate America because, of course, when DE&I started, more people kind of felt like, oh, this is my time to share that I want to be myself. I'm tired of playing this role, corporate America role, and acting like another ethnic group. I won't say white, but anyway. But it becomes very exhausting because every day when you walk, like for me, walking in the building, it's like, okay, here we go. let me put on my mask because I got to play this role. And sometimes I have to step outside and go to my car and just sell a couple of curse words and just go back inside.
Oh, you curse?
What? Not the pussy producer.
What? You curse? You actually get mad?
See, this is what I try to tell America. Everybody you think that doesn't curse. Even those are holy. They all curse at one time or another. Peter cursed in a lot of people.
Prim and proper. Miss Prim and proper. I want to bring this to light too. Business owners code switch to get things done. A lot of times if you own a business and you are trying to get financing, you especially, if you're a person of color and you're trying to get financing, you can't always be your authentic self when you're going through the process of trying to get a loan. You have to code switch. You do. Even when dealing with certain vendors. I remember when I owned a pool hall back in the day, they gave us hell about getting a liquor license, and we couldn't even get a beer license. And I didn't really understand, what the situation was until I got a little older. And it was just how we went about doing it, the conversations, the lingo. They didn't feel comfortable giving a young black man a liquor license because they didn't feel like it would be something positive. So you got to think about it as a business owner. Depending on what you're trying to do, if you're trying to get financing, if you're trying to get backing, you may have to code switch. That just may be a part of the game. You're changing up your lingo, you're changing up the way you dress, because you may be a t-shirt and jean guy. But if you may be dealing with somebody that you're trying to get financing from, there's a suit and tie guy. And you may have to have a different conversation where you're real lax. And don't get me wrong, things are changing. You got companies like Google right now. The work environment is changing. I remember when Facebook, their office opened and, it was a real lax situation. So, and especially after COVID, a lot of things are changing in the workplace. But with that being said, there's still a form of code switching in these corporations. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody for joining the show. I want to leave you with this. In the church, Miss Bernice might step out and say about your baby, oh, that baby's so precious. Look at the little shoes, the little shirt. Look just like his daddy. Code switching, because she want to say that baby ugly, but I'm just gonna leave.
Why?
But anyway, you know what it is. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Get established.
This has join us on all our social platforms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, of course, here, TikTok, I get it together, and also the other things that we are on Instagram too. All right.
That button.
Well, thank you again.
Share, please, share. Share like
please
like,
share, and subscribe to our podcast.
And if you stay on long enough, you might catch the push to produce a twerk.
And hold up, you know what? Let's do something different. Let's let the pushing producer take us out.
On behalf of the fellas and the pushing producer, yeah, thank you.